Hey everybody, my name is Shruti Ramanujam and I'm a product expert here at ManageEngine. So thank you very much for joining us today in this workshop series. So this series is going to be exclusively about one product of ours, which is called O365 Manager Plus. And we have 4 sessions in this workshop series, and we are going to be discussing a lot of the different features and functionalities of O365 Manager Plus. So thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend this workshop and this workshop series. We really appreciate it here at ManageEngine. So in the first session of this workshop series, we are going to be talking about how you can analyze different aspects of your Office 365 environment using our product, which is O365 Manager Plus. So this tool, we are going to be discussing this tool in detail. But before that, let me just mention one thing. If you guys have any questions at all, you can always reach out to us through the chat box that you see on your screen, because we have Ram from technical support. He is manning the chat box right now. So you don't even have to wait until the end of the workshop to ask me any questions that you may have. Just whatever question you have, shoot it out through the chat box that you see on your screen, because we will get back to you immediately. We will make sure that we don't miss out on any of your questions. And if we do miss them out, we will get back to you. We will email you in an hour or two. So any questions that you may have, do ask us. Yeah, that's the only thing you need to know going into today's workshop. And this is a series of four workshops where we will be discussing the various different aspects of O365 Manager Plus. But before that, we need to discuss why exactly this topic is relevant. So to explain that, I have a graph here from one of Microsoft's keynote addresses, where they were talking about Office 365 and Office 365 adoption in general. And they pointed out that around 70% of Fortune 500 companies have purchased Office 365. And this was in 2017 alone. So this is actually quite a big number. And with more and more people moving to the cloud, it has become all the more relevant to have a tool such as O365 Manager Plus, which helps you manage, report on, audit, and monitor every aspect of your Office 365 environment. This includes every single service every single Office 365 service that you may use, because both big and small businesses these days have adopted Office 365. That and along with, there's one other reason why this particular workshop is important, because while the Office 365 portal comes with its own set of reports, those reports are just not enough, because they are not very simple. It is not very simple to manage Office 365 using the portal, and some of the limitations of the Office 365 portal are shown in this slide right here. Audit data is stored for just 90 to 120 days. So what if I want to get historical data? What if I want to go back and see what exactly happened in something that was more than 120 days back? In that case, I cannot exactly depend on the Office 365 portal. It also doesn't allow me to schedule any reports. So because of the lack of a scheduler, you cannot automate report generation using the native tools. And then there's the fact that audit logs need to be filtered to identify any changes. So if there's any critical change that's happened in your Office 365 environment and you need to identify or get more information about this, you need to go through all your audit logs. You need to filter through your audit logs to identify anything out of the ordinary that has happened in your Office 365 environment. So that's obviously a disadvantage of the native tools. Another thing is bulk actions are not allowed in the Office 365 portal. You cannot manage users or mailboxes or groups or anything in bulk using the Office 365 portal. You also cannot create custom help desk roles. So these limitations are just all over the place. And by the way, I've mentioned all of these because these are all things that you can do with O365 Manager Plus. And there are a lot of other limitations in the Office 365 portal, but I will get into detail about them in the consecutive or in the subsequent workshops of this workshop series, because there are quite a few limitations, and each time I mention a limitation, I'm not just going to be complaining about the portal here. I will follow it up with features of O365 Manager Plus, which explain how exactly you can curb or not undergo these limitations, because this tool, this O365 Manager Plus, is going to help you out in every way possible. So these are all the limitations, which leads us to the main reason for today's workshop. What exactly are we going to do in today's workshop? So we will start off with a quick introduction to O365 Manager Plus. I will not go into detail here because, let's face it, there are 3 more workshops, right? So you are gonna see all the different features that are available in O365 Manager Plus in the subsequent workshops, in today's and subsequent workshops. So I will not be going too much into detail about this. I'm just gonna maybe spend a minute or two talking about this tool from ManageEngine, and then we will jump right into the tasks for today. There are just 4 small tasks that we will be performing with O365 Manager Plus. The very first thing we will be seeing is user behavior monitoring. We'll be seeing how you can monitor users log on and email activities. And the second thing that we will be doing is identifying all the dormant or the inactive mailboxes in your organization. And then, because if you're talking about inactive mailboxes, licensing cannot be far behind. So the next task will be about checking the licenses consumed by each Office 365 service. And we will finish today's workshop by seeing how you can track administrators' activities on mailboxes. So these are 4 small things, but they are actually certain tasks that you may perform on a regular basis as an administrator in your organization, right? So these all contribute to some organizational activity one way or the other. So these are all important topics, and we will be discussing these in detail today. So this is the agenda for today. And let's jump right into the very first part of today's agenda, which has to do with what exactly is O365 Manager Plus. What is this tool? So this tool performs 4 main functions, as you can see here. It helps with reporting, change auditing, monitoring, and management. So these are 4 main things that you can do with O365 Manager Plus. And the services that it supports are these. It supports Exchange Online, Azure, Skype for Business, Microsoft Teams, Sway, Power BI. So all these different kinds of services are supported, and we are also open to supporting more services. So if more and more people ask for anything new that they want us to support, we are more than willing to respond to any kind of feature request that you guys may have. So again, make use of the chat box that you see on your screen. All your chats are going to be read by a human person right here. So we will be replying to any question or any suggestion that you may have about today's workshop. So let me quickly switch to the product screen so that I can give you a brief look into O365 Manager Plus. So this is the login screen. I'm going to quickly log in, and we can talk about the different parts of O365 Manager Plus. So this is the tool. As soon as you log in, you are welcomed by the dashboard, which has a number of bar graphs, pie charts, and such, which are going to give you a very quick look. They're going to give you a quick snapshot about your Office 365 environment. So they show you things like the number of licenses that are occupied or being used by the different services in your organization. They show you the top senders and receivers of email in your organization based on the count of the emails, and other important information such as the different kinds of groups that are present, the sizes of groups. And then on the right hand side, all the recent alerts are listed out. So you can take a quick look at these alerts and find out if anything critical is happening in your organization. And then at the top of the screen, you have all the main things that O365 Manager Plus does. The very first tab is the Reports tab, where you can see the different reports of O365 Manager Plus. So it gives you a number of comprehensive reports on your mailboxes, your email traffic, your Azure users, groups, contacts, and the different services such as OneDrive for Business, Skype for Business, Yammer, and so on. And then there's the management tab, which is even more comprehensive than the management actions that you can perform using O365 Manager Plus. So this tab lets you perform activities such as configuring your mailbox retention policy. You can modify your custom attributes for your mailboxes. You can configure mailbox auto reply. Under shared mailbox management, you can change permissions over shared mailboxes. And under Azure, there are a number of different activities that you can perform. So one main thing that I'd like to point out here is that O365 Manager Plus helps with bulk user creation. So you can create a number of user accounts in bulk using O365 Manager Plus. So onboarding is going to be so much easier when you have O365 Manager Plus by your side. And then the next tab is the audit tab, which helps you change audit all the different kind of changes that are happening in your Office 365 environment. And once again, we allow auditing for Exchange Online, Azure, OneDrive for Business, Microsoft Teams, and Power BI. So there are a number of different audit activities present here. And you can also create your own audit profile or alert profile, which we'll be getting into. So you can create any of these on your own using O365 Manager Plus too. The next tab is, of course, the alerts tab, where you can configure alerts in order to get real-time notifications about any kind of change that's happening in your Office 365 environment. So let's say you've set up an alert for mailbox permission changes. So if any change, any permission change whatsoever happens to your Exchange Online mailboxes, you will immediately receive an alert. And I will be getting into that in detail in the subsequent workshops in this workshop series. So you do not have to worry if I'm not getting much into detail here, because I'm just giving you a quick look into what this tool offers. So if I'm not going into detail, I'll definitely be discussing it in one of the subsequent workshops. And then there's the monitoring tab, where you can monitor the health of your features and endpoints for everything that is listed out here in the left pane of the screen. So we can help you monitor your email and calendar under Exchange Online. We help you monitor Azure Active Directory, your Office 365 services, your Skype for Business, SharePoint, and so on. And finally, there's delegation, which helps you delegate to your help desk technicians. You can delegate to your help desk technicians to help them perform activities that, even if they are not tech savvy, there are certain activities that you can delegate to the help desk. And one of the most important aspects of O365 Manager Plus is that it helps you create custom help desk roles. So you can define any random set of instructions together, and this help desk technician can do that. So you can customize your help desk technician roles, and this is something that you cannot do with the native tools. So that's one of the pluses of O365 Manager Plus. So these are all the main things of O365 Manager Plus, and like promised, this was just a quick look into the tool. But if I didn't get into detail about any of these, you do not have to worry, because I will be discussing them further very soon in this week's and in every other workshop of this workshop series. So for today, let's just focus on the 4 main tasks that we are performing, of which task 1 is this. We are going to see how you can use O365 Manager Plus to monitor your users' logon and email activities. So before that, let's see what the disadvantage of using the admin center for user logon auditing is. So the admin center does not exactly provide you a dedicated audit report. You don't have a dedicated report on user logon activity. What you actually need to do in the admin center is that you need to filter the required audit logs. You need to use the audit log search tool in the Office 365 admin center, filter through, and find out find out any details that you may want about user logon activity. And there's an additional problem that in the admin center, you cannot exactly view logon information that's older than 90 days. And whereas when it comes to email activity, when you need something like information about mail activity anomalies, you cannot exactly find that using the admin center, which is when, it does provide some information about email activities, but to get more detailed report on email activity, you need O365 Manager Plus by your side. So let me quickly switch to the product screen and show you the required report. I'll let the report do all the talking for you, yeah? So let me switch to the product screen. The report that we are looking for is present under the reports tab. There are actually 2 reports that I'm going to show you right now. One is for user logon activity and another is for email activity. So the very first report that we are going to look at is user logon activity. So under the reports tab, under user reports, under Azure Active Directory, you have a report called the user logon activity report. I'm pointing at it right here. So what the admin center lacks, the admin center doesn't have a dedicated report. It requires you to go through audit logs in the search tool in order to find out the information you need, and you cannot view logon information that's older than 90 days. Whereas O365 Manager Plus is not that way. And you saw how quickly I could fetch this information for you. All it required was clicking a report titled user logon activity. So this report shows me when exactly a user tried to log on, who tried to log on, what was the client IP address, and what was the status of the result. Did he succeed in logging on or did he fail? The other disadvantage in the admin center is the fact that you don't get information that's older than 90 days. You don't have that problem with O365 Manager Plus because we have a very nice period filter here. Click on it, choose any kind of date range that you want here. Last 30 days, this month, last month, or under custom time period, you can even go up to a year or more. Like if you see right here, you have something called 30 quarters or 30 years. So choose whatever you want, click apply, and this report is going to show you all the information that you need. This is why you can go with O365 Manager Plus, because it gives you the information you need and it doesn't come with the same limitations that the Office 365 Admin Center does. So the second part of the first task for the day was about email activity. So in order to do that, let's click on the reports tab again. The subcategory that we are looking for is the mail traffic reports subcategory. And under mail traffic reports, there is a report called email activity by user. So let's click on this report, and this report is going to help me identify any kind of mail activity anomalies that happen in my organization, no matter whether they originate from a mailbox or even if they are directed to a particular mailbox. If there is any clear sign of malicious activity, you can find that out using this report. So it's going to show you all the mail addresses in your Office 365 account, and it provides information about these mail addresses, such as the number of mails that were received, the number of mails that were sent, the size of the sent and received emails. It shows you the number of messages that were sent and the number of messages that were received, and this is for both internal and external emails. So any kind of information that you need, this report is going to show it to you. Additionally, in every report of O365 Manager Plus, you have a button called Add or Remove Columns. There may be some columns that are not present in the report, such as external received domains, recipient type, and so on. Just select the options or the columns that you want the report to have. Click this button. These columns are going to be added right here. Click Save, and those columns are going to be added to your report. So you can get the information that you need very easily using O365 Manager Plus. In addition to this, you can also export any of the reports in O365 Manager Plus to any of these 4 different formats: CSV, PDF, XLS, and HTML. You can schedule the report so that they are delivered to the required stakeholders at specified time periods. And once again, you can make sure that they receive an email notification once you've scheduled the report. So these are little things that you can do with every single report that O365 Manager Plus provides. So that's it for the first task for the day. And let's quickly move on to the next task that we are going to be performing today. So the next task has to do with identifying inactive mailboxes. So this topic is relevant because Microsoft licenses don't exactly come cheap. You need to manage costs in your organization, and because Microsoft licenses don't come cheap, if there are inactive mailboxes in your Exchange Online environment, you need to figure them out quickly because you don't want these inactive mailboxes to be hogging licenses that could be better used somewhere else. So if Linda from marketing no longer exists, then her mailbox no longer needs the license that is associated with it. So you need to figure out which mailboxes are inactive in your organization so that you can quickly revoke any licenses that these inactive mailboxes may be using up. So in order to do this, I'll show you how you can do this. You can switch to the product screen, O365 Manager Plus, click the reports tab, and right here. The report is right in front of you. It's called the inactive mailboxes report. Let's click on it, and this report is going to very clearly list out all the inactive mailboxes in my organization. So these are all the inactive mailboxes that are present right now. It shows me the display name of the mailboxes. It shows me the last logon time. And if these mailboxes were never logged on to, it also tells me that they were never logged on to. And the number of days since the last logon is also shown in this report. So do you understand how great this is going to be? This is actually going to be really useful. And the best part about O365 Manager Plus is that not only does it let you list out all the inactive mailboxes, under the management tab, you also have something called license management. All you need to do is go there and click license modification. You can list out all the mailboxes. Like I can just click find here. It lists out all the users in my organization. If they are inactive, I can quickly go and revoke any license they have. So let's say this is an inactive user. All I need to do is go to this drop down menu, select remove selected licenses, and I can revoke any license that they have, right? All I need to do is click on apply here. So that's how simple it is. So not only do I look at the inactive mailboxes under the reports tab, jump to the management tab, revoke any licenses that these inactive mailboxes may be hogging up. So that's how O365 Manager Plus is going to help you out. So this was just a small task. Let's move on to the next task for the day, which also has to do with licenses. So you need to optimize the use of critical resources like licenses in your organization. Why? Because licenses contribute to your organization's IT costs, and you need to see how exactly you can reduce your organization's IT costs. This is probably something that your managers are always harping on your back about, right? So you need to see how exactly you can help reduce your organization's IT tasks, which is where effective license management comes in. So O365 Manager Plus helps you manage your licenses effectively because we have several detailed reports which are going to show you which users are licensed and unlicensed, which mailboxes have licenses, and any more details that you may need about licenses. So before I explain this further, let me switch to the product screen and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So under the reports tab, under Azure Active Directory, there's something called the licensed reports. So for something as simple as Microsoft licenses, these are all the reports that we have available. So you can see if users are licensed or unlicensed, we have separate reports for that. You can see which mailboxes have licenses through the licensed mailboxes report. You can see which licenses have been recently modified in your environment using this particular report. So I can just go on and on. These are the different kinds of license reports that we have available in O365 Manager Plus. So the report that we're looking for right now is called the license details report. So this report is going to show me the name of the license. It shows me how many valid licenses are available. It shows me how many licenses have expired, which is 0 as of now. It shows me how many have been assigned, how many are still available to be assigned, how many licenses have been suspended, how many have been logged out, and the purchase date of the licenses. So this is just going to help me plan ahead. If I know the purchase date, it shows me when the next life cycle date is, the status, whether it's enabled or disabled. If it is a trial license, you can see it here through this column. And I think that's about it. That's all the columns that this report is going to have. So even if these licenses are in a warning state, it's usually 30 days, and any licenses that are present in the warning state are going to be a reminder for you. You will know if you need to purchase any Office 365 licenses in the near future. If you want to see a service-based license count based on the services that you have, you can always use the license by service report, which shows you the display name, the license name, and if what kind of services are available for that particular license. And there's also a graph at the top of the screen, which gives you a quick look into the licenses based on their services easily. So that's how you can use O365 Manager Plus to keep track of the different licenses that are being consumed by different Office 365 services in your organization. So the next report, and I mean the next task that we are going to be looking at today has to do with admin activity on your mailboxes. So we are going to see one particular report in O365 Manager Plus, which helps you audit administrators' activities on mailboxes in your Exchange Online environment. So where exactly does this come in? So if your organization has multiple administrators, you must be familiar with this feeling. When you have multiple administrators, each administrator is going to be operating at different times. They may have brought about some change. They may have changed some configuration, some settings in your environment. And later on, when you face a problem, you do not know how exactly you need to fix it because some other administrator has made the change. You have not documented properly, so there is no way that you can find out how exactly you can troubleshoot, which is why you need this particular report in O365 Manager Plus. It's called the admin activity on mail. I mean, it's called the Exchange Admin Activity Report. And this report is going to help you keep an eye on the different activities carried out by administrators in your Office 365 environment. So this report is going to help you out with documentation because it has detailed data. It'll help you with compliance because later on when you need to pass compliance audits, you need to show your auditors that you are keeping track of every configuration change, every settings change in your organization. It's also going to help you with troubleshooting because if one administrator has made a change, the other administrator needs to figure it out. They can look through this report, find out what change happened, and troubleshooting is going to be so much easier when you have O365 Manager Plus by your side. So let me switch to the product screen and show you how exactly you can access this report. So once again, under the reports tab, if you look at the bottommost report or bottommost category in the left pane, it's called the security reports subcategory. And the report that we are looking for is called Exchange Admin Activity. So let's quickly click on Exchange Admin Activity, and this report is going to give me all the data I need. It's going to show me when exactly an administrator carried out a change, what activity took place, what was the kind of PowerShell command let that was used for this, who exactly brought this change about, what parameters were modified, what was the value, what was the name, all that is going to be shown by this column. And the activity that they performed, did it succeed? If it succeeded, the column entry is going to say true, and if it did not succeed, it's going to say false. Go to add or remove columns, you can get more details such as the full command, the modified properties, which object was modified, and the workload. Let's add all of that to the right hand side, click save, and get all the information that we need. So these are all the new entries that we added. What was the full command that was used? Which properties were modified? So here, this is not exactly to do with modification. So this column is empty right now. Which object was modified? The workload. So all of this is shown by this particular report of O365 Manager Plus. So that's it for the tasks for today. And I kept this short for you guys deliberately because if you guys have any questions, you can always ask through the chat box that you see on your screen. And shoot it out. We have Ram from tech support, so he will be handling any question that you may have. And in today's session, these are all the topics that we looked at. We saw how you can monitor users log on and email activities. We saw how you can find out which mailboxes are inactive, which Exchange Online mailboxes have been lying dormant for quite some time now. We saw how you can check the licenses consumed by different Office 365 services in your environment. We saw how you can track administrators' activities on mailboxes. So we looked at 4 main reports in O365 Manager Plus, but of course, as I showed in the beginning of today's workshop, the product does so much more than just that. Like it helps with management, which is something we will be discussing in tomorrow's workshop. It also helps with auditing, alerting, monitoring, delegation, and so on. So we will be getting into these in detail in the subsequent workshops of this workshop series. So you do not have to worry about that at all. Also, if you have any particular questions that you want us to answer, there are quite some people already asking us questions through the chat box. So go ahead and ask us anything that you want us to clarify for you. We will make sure that we address each and every one of your questions, either through the chat box or by email in quite some time now. Also, if you have any suggestions for how I can improve this session for you in the subsequent workshops, do let me know so that I can work on them for you for the following workshops of this workshop series. And with that, thank you very much. You guys have been a great audience today. Go ahead and ask those questions. We are right here to answer them for you. We will meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m. once again. And in tomorrow's session, we will be looking at management in detail. So we will be seeing how O365 Manager Plus measures up in respect to or in comparison with the native tools. So I will be going into detail about where the Office 365 portal falls short and how ManageEngine's tool will help you out. So that's how we will be, that's how tomorrow's workshop is going to go. If you want a recording of today's workshop, we can do that for you. We will be sending you a recording shortly. So if you want a recording, do drop your email addresses in the chat box that you see on your screen, and we will try and send your recordings as soon as possible. So thank you very much for attending today's workshop, and I hope you have a great day today.